Hey everybody, it's Coach Zach here with our third edition of our Athlete Spotlight interview. My guest today is a 2023 grad from North Springs High School, where he attended Wofford. After his freshman year, he transferred to the University of Georgia. This season, he is hitting 393 in 14 games. He has 22 hits, one double, one triple, 24 RBIs, six stolen bases, and 10 home runs, which is now tied for first in the country for D1. Daniel Jackson, what's up, dude?
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Georgia is 11-3 right now. You have this last non-conference weekend against Queens, correct, at home,
Yep.
before hosting Tennessee, which is obviously a big weekend, starting off SEC play. What has to go start going right for Georgia to be hot going into that weekend next weekend?
Honestly, just taking care of business this weekend. 4 games, so we can either make it, long weekend, if we don't go out there and take care of business, or we can, make it quick if we, do what we're supposed to do. But honestly, I mean, I feel good about where we're at.
Absolutely. I remember when I was a fifth year at the College of Charleston, we had clinched the regular season by like a month into the season. I mean, we played really well. We didn't lose a game at home in conference, and our last weekend was at Towson, which is historically the worst team in our conference. And it's like we know we're going to win the baseball games, but our coach like really put an emphasis on like, dude, we cannot walk in there and just treat them lightly, otherwise we'll lose baseball games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was something that transpired where we won it handedly on the first game, and then we played like crap the next day, and then we get walked off on senior night, and
Yeah.
it's like demoralizing. Even though the regular season's over, we won the regular season, but like it just ended the season on some weird note, and then we ended up not playing that great in the playoffs. So it was like, God, what a great season to have just to end on a weird note. And obviously,
Yeah.
starting that SEC play, you can't take these guys lightly. It's like we are going to put the foot on the gas and continue to play our best baseball going into this weekend.
Yeah. 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 Just got to respect every team and go out there and take care of business.
So obviously, you're off to this hot start, playing pretty well. What have you done over the winter to prepare to have yourself playing at such a high level?
Honestly, just going after it, getting after it every day on all aspects of the ball, defensively and offensively. You know, Going to the cages every day, doing my swing work. I wanted to build a base for my swing so that I felt confident going into the season. So, I'm worried about, what's my approach and everything rather than how does my swing feel. And then defensively, just doing everything that I can to, refine that as much as possible.
Absolutely. I know you were here at Aviation a couple times over the winter working with Jake and getting in with that Grinders Club. And I know you and Winnie were out here. So that was awesome. You
Yeah.
guys are getting after it like that. So what are you doing right now? Obviously, it's you have practice every time you're not playing. You're probably getting your own swings in outside. Like how often are you going to the cages by yourself to get swings in right now?
I would say, a couple times a week. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Um, we get a lot of swings in at practice,
Yep.
and sometimes I've gotten into the habit of taking too many swings.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's kind of based off of where I'm at. If I feel really good, I want to, stay away from going in there and putting myself in a bad spot. But at the same time, I like to go in there and kind of work on, my cold areas. If something was not feeling right, or if I feel like I'm not seeing spin very well, going hitting curveballs or whatnot, that's that's kind of where I'm at.
Gotcha. And you mentioned how your body's feeling. So obviously you do a lot of the catching. That's a lot on the knees, a lot on the arm. You're throwing just about every time the pitch has been thrown back to him, whether that's throwing somebody out or whatnot. So like, how is it important for you to have a really good recovery routine for your body, for your knees, and for your arm?
It's extremely important. It's almost as important as how you play that day. Because it's a long season, so you want to stay ahead of the curve, before something reaches up and starts to catch up to you. So it's really just kind of being smart, um, about what you're doing, what you're not doing, and kind of staying in the training room as much as possible. When everything's nagging at you. I mean, we have great people trying to help us. So
when I was at Charleston, our athletic trainer left to be the UGA athletic baseball trainer. Is it still Zach
Yeah,
Adams?
it is.
Zach
That's
Zach
crazy.
Zach Adams is awesome. I loved being around
Yeah.
him a ton. He helped me a ton. I had some back issues going into my junior year, so I was with him nonstop before every practice, after every practice, on the weekends, just always getting in there with him. So that's awesome that
Yeah,
he's
Zach's the
still at
man.
Georgia. I've noticed, like I said in the beginning, you have six stolen bases. Someone said last year you had almost like 15 somewhere in there. Have you
Yeah, I think I ended at 12 last year.
12 last year? Have you always been a speedy guy, a bag stealer? I obviously I don't know you. I wasn't here when you were playing. So have you always been like that speedy guy that can get back there and catch?
I would say it kind of started coming to me like, my senior year of high school when I could really feel like I could start to run. And then went to Wofford for a year. There's probably not many places that will teach you how to, run the bases as well as they do. Um, and then, once I, got to Georgia, I mean, my confidence in running the bases was just all-time high, knowing how fast I could run and, my knowledge of base running. So kind of just putting it together.
That's awesome because I know there's a lot of schools out there that some of their hotter bats, they're bigger guys that they don't want to get hurt. So sometimes they'll tell them to not even steal at all or really lower
Yeah.
times to steal. It's awesome that it seems like your coaching staff is allowing you to like be free and play the game and be aggressive. So you mentioned Wofford. What was the biggest change going from Wofford to then Georgia?
I would say, I mean, there's a ton of things. I mean, the main thing, probably the easiest is, the resources available, top of the line facilities, everything available to me. A little bit of change in, approach about how we're kind of playing the game. That was a big difference. We play at a, hitter's ballpark here. Um,
The trees.
trying to feed the trees. That was kind of different because, at Wofford, it was a little bit more of a kind of a small ball type of approach. And then obviously the competition playing in the SEC is, at an all-time high.
You are draft eligible at the end of this year. Have you started to hear certain things? Do you have an agent? Do you have guys like around you that's like telling you certain things, or have you really not even started to worry about that yet? Because obviously you're still in the middle of your season. You're trying to win and put Georgia in the best spot to win a national championship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have my agent with me. I've had, my meetings with teams. But right now it's just kind of focused on winning. A couple of things, our one of our hitting coaches says, Coach Coggin, he emphasizes that, if you do the things the right way to help the team win, good things will happen for yourself naturally. And that's kind of where I'm at, just going about it day by day, kind of putting that in the back of my head and just going about it.
Oh yeah, that also kind of hit a thing in the back of my head of Danny yelling at me all the time. Like if you play team baseball, if you do the things for the guys
Yeah,
and right, good things will happen for yourself and for the team. Absolutely.
100%.
Um, what advice would you give to a high school starting their recruiting process or in the middle of their recruiting process as you went through it going to Wofford out of high school and then leaving Wofford going to Georgia?
Yeah, honestly, I would just tell them to, trust the process and, don't rush it. Don't rush into anything. Find the place that you feel like you can call home. Um, and having the comfortability and knowing that just because you pick a place for one year doesn't mean you're going to be there for, your whole collegiate career. That's the nice thing about the transfer portal is if you just really happen to hate a spot that you're at, I mean, you can, go into the portal and find a new home within a day.
What in your time at 643 helped you prepare at the next level?
I mean, I think that the great thing about 643, they hit every facet of the game, you know, and they really just teach you to play the game the right way. I remember when I was 16, it was my first year. It actually might have even been my first tournament playing for 643, but I had walked onto the field. My coach called me back and brought me back into the dugout and told me to run out. And, from then on, I would never do it again. So that's just kind of an example of, I feel like, kind of what 643 was about. and just not leaving any stone unturned when it came to the game of baseball.
Absolutely. I just got done with my 12s practice not too long ago, and I think we did some fly ball stuff, but then we did picks, bunt D's, first and
Of
third.
course.
We hit, we pitched a little bit. So I think we did base running at the very end, right after hitting. So we hit everything. So we play 2 games tomorrow night under the lights at
Yeah.
Illinois for our first tournament. And it's like we need to be prepared to do everything. And if for some reason we screw up, that's fine, right? Like we
Yeah.
we want
Because
them
you
to
know you worked
learn.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we want them to learn the game. I mean, these guys
Yeah.
are 12. It's our first tournament of the spring going into the summer. So it's like I told them, like, guys, we are going to mess up, and that is okay.
Yeah.
But I want you
Yeah.
to do it with confidence at full speed. Who cares
Yep.
if you screw up? Who no one cares
Exactly.
about this Lake Point tournament in March. We want to be
Yeah.
all cylinders, learning everything when we hit Cooperstown at the end of May and then playing that PG World Series at the end of June.
100%.
So you mentioned being here at 16. I believe you were a 16 Coug, 17 Coug, and an 18 Coug. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So what was your favorite memory or favorite coach that you had in your time here?
Favorite memory. So when this was 16, um, Coach Mang, Coach Rick Mang, I didn't throw a ball down to third. When I was, we had a back pick on the third, and he told me to take the garbage out when I'm told to take the garbage out, and that is something that, that'll always stick with me. And I love Mang because um he was always, he's gonna be hard on his guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's out of love, so
Absolutely. If you haven't been around Coach Mang, you got to get out there. Even if you're not on the 16 Cougs, like go to a 16 Coug practice because whether you're a 9 Coug, a 9 Tiger, a 13 Panther, like
yeah,
if you show up to a 16 Coug practice, you are going to get the same intent, the same demand, the same coaching that he's going to give his 16 Cougs. Even if
no doubt.
show back up here on just to help out a practice, he would expect you to do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Mang is the best. So that's a guy that you
without a doubt.
definitely need to get around and just absorb so much knowledge. It's so fun to be around Mang.
Yeah.
Um, Daniel, it was also awesome having you on. I really hope you have a great weekend and good luck going into SEC play.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.